Hey guys, welcome to Nathan's Media. In today's video, we'll be checking out how to deploy an Elastic Cloud server on Huawei Cloud. For the purpose of this video, we'll be deploying two Elastic Cloud servers, one running Linux and the other running Windows. So, let's get started. First, log into your Huawei Cloud console. Then, on your left hand side, go ahead to the services list and search for ECS, or you can click on if it's there already. Once you click on ECS, you can see that there's no ECS available. So, as the first step, we are going to go ahead and click on Buy ECS. Here, you'll be met with the configuration settings. So, in the basic configuration menu, you have three settings to choose, which is the billing mode, the region, and the availability zone inside the region. So, first we'll select our billing mode. As you can see, there are three options, which is to pay yearly or monthly, pay-per-use, and spot price. When using yearly or monthly, you usually get a discount since you are running it on all days of the month or all days of the year. We are going to select pay-per-use because it will only charge you for the time you use the cloud server. The spot price, on the other hand, will give you discounted rates depending on the usage of other users and the availability of the spots. So for this video, we are going to go ahead with pay-per-use, and then as the region, I'm going to keep Singapore. As you can see, there are many regions to choose from, such as China, Istanbul, and Mexico. So I'm going to keep it on Singapore. And then as the availability zone, which is named as the AZ, we're going to keep it on random. Next, the instance type. Here, we are going to select the instance which our virtual machine will be running on. As you can see, there are search filters. You can filter out the amount of vCPUs or memory you need. Since we won't be needing a big virtual machine, I'm going to stick with the C6 large.2, which has 4 vCPUs and 8 gigabytes of memory, since we'll be creating the Windows virtual machine at first. Next, you can go ahead and select the operating system. So, since we are running Windows, I'll select Windows, and you'll get a selection of third-party images of Windows Server. You can also add Windows 11 or Windows 10 by using your own images. I'll include it in a different video. For now, we'll go with Windows Server 2016. We'll select it and then scroll down, leave these settings as default. And in storage and backup, we can select the system disk. So we have selected the general purpose SSD, and the disks to be about 60 gigabytes would be enough, a bit more than the default. And next we are going to select the network. Here the VPC means the virtual private cloud. VPCs are isolated from other VPCs, which means if you place a virtual machine in this VPC, which is the default VPC, you cannot communicate with the virtual machine on another VPC directly. So we are going to choose the default VPC, or you can create a VPC on your own. I'll set an example by creating a VPC. So once you hit on create a VPC, you get taken to this page. So as the VPC name, you can let's set it as VPC demo. And next, the subnet name as subnet demo. You can have up to 3 subnets inside a VPC. So the availability zone, once again, we are going to put it in availability zone 1. And we're going to hit on create now on the right hand corner. Okay, so we have created another VPC, which is the VPC demo. We're going to go back to creating the ECS, and once you hit on refresh, you can select the drop down, and there shows our VPC demo. So we're going to select that. The primary NIC will be automatically selected, and then we are going to go ahead to security groups. Once again, there will be a default security group. We are just going to remove it and create a new one. Here you can configure the ports which are open or closed. If you are gonna do it quickly, you can use a template. So I'm gonna select general purpose web server since we are running a server, and I'm gonna name it as SG demo. SG stands for security group here. I'm gonna hit on OK. And now to the public network access. EIPs are elastic IPs. If you need to access your virtual machine over the internet, you would need an EIP. But if you're not going to use it through the internet and you're just going to use it through the cloud console, you won't need an EIP. So as you can see here on the bottom, there'll be an EIP traffic price if you're using an EIP. But if you're not using it, there won't be that additional cost. For the purpose of this video, once again, I'm just going to use an EIP and set it to auto assign. We are going to select the default traffic mode, leave these as default, and I'm going to select the ECS name as ECS Windows since we are installing Windows on it. And here there are three login modes, which is password, key pair, or you can set the password later when you log into Windows. I'm going to select it as password, and here I'm going to enter password. The password has to be compliant with these instructions mentioned over here. Next, you can select the quantity you're going to purchase. We are going to just purchase one, so we're going to leave it as one. And we can click on submit. Before that, you can make a quick rundown whether you have done everything correctly. Yeah, so we'll hit on submit. And we're going to agree and submit. Alright, so we're going to go back to the ECS list. Alright, so it's running. So to log into your ECS, there are a couple of options. Either you can use remote desktop and log into it using the RDP, or using the console, you can select, go to the operations menu and select on remote login. As you can see, as the first option I mentioned earlier, you can download the RDP file. In other login methods, you can choose login using the remote management console. So it will open up a tab in the web browser and you can log in through that. So I'll show you how to log in using the remote management console. Click on login. Alright, so we can click on send control or delete on the top right hand corner. And you can enter a password, the password you have set earlier. And as you can see, you are now logged in to your virtual machine. Similar process when it comes to using the RDP file. As you log into a normal machine, you just go enter the IP into the RDP manager, and then you can log in through that. So now that we have created a Windows machine, we are going to go ahead and create a Linux machine. So once again, we are going to hit on buy ECS. It's the same process that we are going through, and I'm going to select pay per use, leave the region and the availability zones as default, and I'm going to select a smaller instance such as the C6 large 2, and then in the OS I'm going to select CentOS 7.6. You can actually select any version of CentOS. I'm just going with 7.6 because it's the one in the demo. So we're going to select general purpose SSDs, or you can select high IO. As you can see, it's 0.815 and general purpose would be the same price. So there's no change in price. High IO means high input and output. So as the VPC, we are going to select the VPC we have created, the VPC demo. Then we can select the security group we have created earlier, which is SG. SG demo. Then the EIP, we are not going to use any EIP for the Linux machine. We'll be logging in through the remote management console. If you're going to use something like PuTTY, you can use the EIP. So next we're going to set the ECS name as ECS Linux. Then we are going to enter password right now. All right. Next, I'm going to go through it once again to check whether we have done everything correctly. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to hit on submit, agree, and submit. And return back to the ECS list. All right. So it's still creating. Now it's running. So we're going to hit on the operation menu. We're going to hit on remote login. And we are going to log in using the remote management console. Let's just go back to the this thing. When you hit on remote logging, you get the options such as to use PuTTY or X shell, or you can just use the SSH. There are instructions for that as well. So heading back to the remote management console, we're going to type in the login name, which is root, and the password. Alright, so as you can see here, we have logged in to the virtual machine. So you can continue whatever you want to do in the virtual machine, and you will be billed for the time you have used the virtual machine. So this is a cost-effective way if you want to run your services on the cloud. And thanks for watching Nathan's Media.